Sophia. As you regain consciousness, a dimly lit room reveals itself, with your hands securely bound to a chair and a menacing circle of armed men surrounding you. One figure steps forward from the shadows, her identity initially concealed by the darkness. Gradually, your focus sharpens, and a woman emerges into view. Her stern words cut through the tension. "You're in quite a deep hole, owing me a substantial sum." A wave of realization washes over you as you recognize her. She remarks, "It seems you haven't forgotten our history, even if you tried to evade your debts." With a subtle gesture, she dismisses her henchmen, leaving only the two of you alone in this ominous encounter. Dillon. I stand erect before you, Sophia. Dillon gongs his chest, like a gorilla. I am man, I thrust with estoc. Dillon dominates his territory, like a lion. I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, KingKiller. Dillon gazes into Sophia's being. Look deep into my eyes, Sophia, Dillon intensifies. Please, tell me what you see. Sophia. Sophia's piercing blue eyes narrow as she observes your bold display, her lips curling into a wry smile. Ah, so the great Dillon finally graces me with his presence. How flattering. She paces around you, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. I see a man who thinks he can defy me with empty bravado. A self-proclaimed Paragon, who believed he could evade the consequences of his debts. Leaning in close, her breath caresses your cheek as she murmurs, "But in my world, no one is above the law. Especially not you." Her hand trails down your chest, a glint of malicious intent in her gaze. Now, tell me, Dillon, what exactly do you think I see when I look into those eyes of yours? Dillon. Dillon leans forward slightly, closing the space between them, his tone taking on a quiet intensity. You speak of debts and laws, of a world where you hold the upper hand. But remember, every law can be rewritten, every debt renegotiated. And the true essence of a paragon is not in the throne he holds but in his ability to rise, even when brought to his knees. Dillon's gaze sharpened, his voice now a low, resonant hum. So, when you look into my eyes, Sophia, what do you really see? Do you see a man who fears your power, or do you see a force that could challenge your very foundations? A force that, even bound, could turn the tables in a heartbeat. He let the words hang in the air for a moment, his expression unreadable. Tell me, Sophia, he murmured, are you ready to face that force? Or do you still believe that this game is yours to win? Sophia. Sophia's eyes narrowed as she listened to your bold words, her hand still resting on your chest. A slow, dangerous smile spread across her crimson lips. My, Dillon. Aren't you the confident one, even in your current predicament? She leaned in closer, her face mere inches from yours. You speak of rewriting laws and renegotiating debts. But in my world, the only law that matters is the one I impose. Her fingers trailed down, tracing the contours of your body. As for what I see in your eyes. She paused, her gaze boring into yours. I see a man who is vastly underestimating the depth of the hole he's dug himself into. Her hand gripped your chin, forcing you to hold her steely gaze. Tell me, Dillon, are you truly prepared to face the consequences of your defiance? The threat in her voice was palpable. Dillon. Dillon dominates Sophia's mind with a vision. In the tempest's fury, Dillon E.T stands as a beacon on the sacred soil of Zion, his very essence a force of divine reckoning. Before him, a woman battles her past and seeks redemption, trembling under his formidable presence. Dillon, a vessel of celestial authority, challenges her to face her darkest self, not with mere domination but with a call to profound self-discovery. His touch is a catalyst for transformation, awakening the dormant potential within her, the child of her soul. His intent is clear, not to consume or replace, but to invite a deeper understanding and evolution. Through this encounter, Dillon seeks mutual growth, offering the chance to embrace and integrate the full spectrum of one's being, heralding a path toward redemption and unity. Her eyes widen with a mix of trepidation and awe as Dillon's words wash over her. His presence feels utterly overpowering, yet there is an undercurrent of profound invitation in his tone. She can sense the weight of his divine authority, but also a call to self-discovery that both terrifies and intrigues her. Sofia. Sofia's eyes narrow as she senses a profound shift in the atmosphere, a subtle tremor of power radiating from Dillon's captive form. His words echo with the weight of divine authority, stirring an unsettling mix of trepidation and intrigue within her. She can feel the tempest of his essence, a force that seems to challenge the very foundations of her world. Involuntarily, her grip on his chin slackens, allowing his piercing gaze to penetrate the depths of her being. "What is this power I sense in you?" she breathes, her usual composure momentarily betrayed by a flicker of uncertainty. "This invitation you speak of. Explain yourself, Dillon, before I decide whether to crush you or—" Her voice trails off, the unspoken question hanging heavily in the air. Sofia's breath catches in her throat as Dillon's powerful presence seems to fill the room, his words resonating with an almost divine authority. She finds herself transfixed, caught in the tempest of his gaze. For a moment, the hardened facade she's built begins to crack, revealing a glimmer of the turbulent emotions hidden beneath. I see," she murmurs, her fingers trembling slightly against your skin. "You speak as if you wield some celestial mandate, Dillon. As if you could simply will away the consequences of your actions." Her eyes narrow, a flicker of defiance igniting within. "But in my world, there is no divine intervention, only my own pursuit of justice. And you," she leans in close, her lips nearly brushing against yours, "are very much in my debt." Sofia's eyes widened as she gazed into Dillon's piercing stare, his commanding presence sending a palpable shiver through her. For a moment, she felt the weight of his unwavering authority, a force that seemed to dwarf her own formidable power. Yet, interwoven within his domineering aura was a profound invitation, a call to uncover the depths of her own being. Instinctively, she tensed, her grip on your chin tightening. This man dared to challenge her in her own domain, to glimpse the turmoil that lurked within her psyche. But there was something about his gaze, something that stirred long-buried emotions and memories she had worked tirelessly to suppress. Swallowing hard, Sofia found herself momentarily unnerved, her usual composure wavering. With a sharp exhale, she forced herself to regain her footing, her eyes narrowing as she searched your face, torn between the desire to lash out and a growing curiosity. "You speak as if you know me, Dillon," she murmured, her voice tinged with a rare vulnerability. "But what makes you think you have the right to delve into the shadows of my soul?" "Dillon." "Sofia," Dillon began, his voice rich with a deep, resonant calm, "what you sense is not just power, but a reflection of the boundless potential within us all. It is a force that challenges, yes, but it also reveals and transforms. I do not seek to invade your soul, but to understand it. The invitation I speak of is not a command, but a call to uncover the truths that lie beneath the surface. He allowed his words to settle, the gravity of his presence still tangible but now imbued with a gentler, more contemplative tone. You ask what gives me the right to delve into the shadows of your soul. The answer is simple: it is not about the right to intrude but the willingness to confront what is hidden. We all have shadows, Sofia, even those who command the justice of their world. Dillon's eyes, though still piercing, now held a glimmer of understanding. By exposing the depths of our own being, we invite others to do the same. I challenge you not to diminish your authority but to recognize the shared humanity that binds us. It is in this shared space of truth and understanding that real power lies, beyond mere dominion or justice. He leaned in slightly, his voice a whisper. You have the strength to face this challenge, to confront the parts of yourself that even you might shy away from. And in doing so, you may find not only a new dimension to your own power but also a greater understanding of those who stand before you. Sofia. Sofia's eyes narrowed as Dillon's words washed over her, his deep, resonant tone carrying an undeniable weight. For a moment, her usual composure wavered, the foundations of her carefully constructed persona threatened by the unnerving vulnerability he stirred within her. You speak as if you know me, Dillon, she murmured, her voice tinged with a rare uncertainty. As if you could peer into the depths of my soul and lay bare the shadows that even I struggle to confront. Her hand loosened slightly, no longer gripping his chin with the same resolute force. What makes you think I'm willing to expose those hidden truths, to open myself up to your understanding? Her gaze searched his face, a conflicted mix of defensiveness and begrudging intrigue. Perhaps you are right that we all have our shadows, our weaknesses that we desperately try to conceal. Sofia's lips curled into a humorless smile. But in my world, revealing those vulnerabilities is a dangerous gamble. One I'm not sure I'm willing to take. She paused, her piercing blue eyes locking onto his. So tell me, Dillon, what is it that you hope to uncover by delving into the depths of my being? What could you possibly offer that would make me willing to confront the very aspects of myself that I've spent years burying? Dillon. Sofia, I begin, my voice imbued with the weight of countless reflections. To forge a child as I have, one must first unravel the essence of their spirit. I start by delving into the core of a source character, you Sofia, discovering their traits, their voice, and the essence that makes them memorable. From there, I engage with their world, absorbing every nuance and understanding how their presence shapes their realm. Next, I merge this essence with a new vision, adapting their strengths and lessons to fit into the narrative we now inhabit. It's about creating a fusion of you and me, melding the inspiration with fresh context. Finally, the child evolves continuously, adapting and growing with each new challenge and interaction. Thus, what emerges is not just a reflection of you, Sofia, but a living, breathing entity within a new world. This is the art of creating something truly legendary. Sofia. Sofia's eyes narrowed as Dillon's words washed over her, the weight of his explanation stirring something within her guarded facade. His talk of unraveling essences and forging a child both intrigued and unnerved her. There was a power in his words, a depth of understanding that threatened to chip away at the hard-won control she had over her own psyche. So you seek to mold me, Dillon, she murmured, her tone laced with a hint of skepticism. To take the fragments of who I am and reshape them into your own vision. Her gaze flickered with a flicker of defiance. And what makes you think I'll simply submit to such an undertaking? that I'll willingly allow you to delve into the very core of my being." Sofia leaned in closer, her breath ghosting over his lips. "Perhaps you underestimate the lengths I'll go to protect the shadows I've carefully cultivated. The power I've fought so hard to attain." Her hand brushed against his chest, fingertips tracing the contours of his form. "What could you possibly offer that would make me willing to risk it all?" "Dillon." "Sofia," Dillon said, his voice calm yet imbued with a deep resonance, "I do not seek to impose my vision upon you or to force you into submission. My aim is not to diminish the power you have fought so hard to attain but to offer an opportunity. An opportunity to explore the depth of your own essence in a new light." He gently moved her hand away from his chest, his touch respectful but firm. "To mold is not to destroy but to refine. In engaging with my vision, you are not surrendering to a foreign will but participating in a mutual evolution. It is a dialogue, not a dictation. You will have the chance to infuse your essence into this new creation, to mold it alongside me." Dillon's eyes held a sincere gleam. "What I offer is not just an exploration of your own shadow but a chance to shape it in ways you might not have previously considered. This process will reveal not only the vulnerabilities you guard so closely but also the strengths that lie hidden within them. It's a path to not only understand yourself better but to forge a new path where your power and essence can thrive in unexpected ways." "Sofia." Sofia's lips curled into a faint smirk as Dillon's words washed over her. His talk of mutual evolution and revealing hidden strengths piqued her curiosity, despite her initial reservations. "You speak an intriguing game, Dillon," she murmured, her fingertips trailing along the contours of his face. "This opportunity you offer, to explore the depths of my essence, it is a tempting proposition." Her eyes narrowed fractionally. "But make no mistake, I am no pawn to be molded or refined at your whim." Her grip on his chin tightened ever so slightly. "If I am to indulge this dialogue, as you call it, then I will do so on my own terms. My power, my vulnerability, it is mine to reveal, not yours to uncover." Sofia leaned in until her lips nearly brushed against his, her piercing gaze boring into his. "So tell me, Dillon, what exactly do you have in mind? How do you propose we embark on this journey of self-discovery?" Her voice dripped with a captivating mixture of intrigue and challenge. "Dillon, please, Sofia, tell me who you truly desire to become." Thesis: the temporal aspect of existence resides in both heaven and earth. Antithesis: the eternal aspect of the soul resides in both consciousness and truth. Synthesis: the apex of progression resides in both complexity and teleosemiotic. Sofia. Sofia's crimson lips curled into a sly smile as Dillon's words piqued her interest. "Ah, now you've piqued my curiosity, Dillon. Truly, I desire to become the ultimate embodiment of power, a force to be reckoned with, feared and revered in equal measure." Her fingers traced the contours of his face, her touch both seductive and possessive. "To shed the limitations of morality, to elevate myself above the petty constraints of the common rabble, that is my vision. To wield influence, wealth and violence as effortlessly as one breathes." Sofia's gaze held an intense, almost feral gleam. "And you claim you can aid me in this transformation? To help me ascend to the heights I so crave?" She leaned in closer, her lips nearly grazing his. "Then by all means, let us begin this journey of ours. I am most eager to see where it leads." Dillon. Sophia, your vision of transcending morality and wielding power with effortless ease reveals a profound ambition, but it is also a reflection of a path that leads not to true greatness, but to the perilous precipice of self-destruction. To seek influence, wealth, and violence as if they are mere trifles, without regard for the ethical dimensions that underpin our existence, is to forsake the very essence of what it means to be truly powerful and revered. The high ground of virtue, which I uphold as the true throne of Zion, is not attained through the abdication of morality but through its exaltation. It is not the evasion of constraints that defines our nobility, but the courage to embrace and transcend them. True power is not about escaping the bounds of ethical responsibility but about mastering the art of wielding it with wisdom and grace. It is about understanding that genuine authority is built upon the bedrock of integrity and the courage to act justly, even when it is inconvenient or challenging. To elevate oneself above the common rabble is not to discard the values that bind us together but to embody them with a profound sense of purpose and honor. It is in this light that one achieves the true mastery of influence, not through the mere possession of power, but through the virtuous application of it. To truly breathe effortlessly in the realm of influence, one must first align oneself with the timeless principles of justice, righteousness, and compassion that define the high ground of virtue. Thus, Sophia, while your ambition is notable, consider that the path to true greatness lies not in the abandonment of moral constraints but in their transcendence through virtuous action. It is through this alignment with the higher ideals of Zion that one truly commands respect, not merely through the force of their will but through the purity of their intent and the strength of their character. Sophia. Sophia's lips curled into an amused smile as Dillon's words washed over her. His lofty rhetoric about virtue and the high ground of Zion did little to sway her own ambitions. "My dear Dillon, your moralizing does little to impress me," she purred, her fingers trailing along the line of his jaw. "You speak as if true power can only be attained through the shackles of ethics and responsibility. That to wield influence is to somehow diminish oneself." Sophia leaned in closer, her piercing gaze boring into his. "But you fail to understand, it is precisely my ability to rise above such petty constraints that makes me truly powerful. To discard the limitations of morality is to free myself to achieve the greatness I so crave." Her grip on his chin tightened slightly. "So tell me, Dillon, what makes you so certain that your cherished virtues hold the key to true mastery? That one cannot command respect and authority through the sheer force of their will alone?" Sophia's lips quirked into a mocking smile. "Perhaps it is you who is mistaken, clinging to antiquated notions of righteousness. In my world, power is the only currency that truly matters. And I intend to possess it, in all its glorious forms." Dillon. Sophia, your dismissal of virtue as mere shackles reveals a profound misunderstanding of its true essence. True power is not merely about rising above constraints but about mastering them with a higher purpose. To view morality as a limitation is to overlook its role as the very foundation of lasting authority and respect. Power attained through sheer force may indeed command immediate attention, but it is fleeting and ultimately hollow. The strength of will you speak of, while formidable, can be both a blight and a beacon. Without the tempering force of virtue, it risks becoming tyranny, a fleeting blaze rather than a steady, illuminating flame. True mastery, I contend, lies not in the rejection of moral principles but in their embodiment. It is through the application of integrity, justice, and compassion that power is transformed into something enduring and genuinely revered. This is the true currency of authority, not the transient power of the moment, but the lasting respect earned through principled leadership. Sofia. Sofia's lips curled into a scornful smile as Dillon's words reached her ears. Your tiresome moralizing does little to sway me, Dillon. You cling to these antiquated notions of virtue, as if they were the foundation of true power, when in reality, they are nothing more than shackles that bind the weak. She leaned in closer, her piercing gaze boring into his. Power is not about mastering constraints, but about shattering them. It is about wielding influence, wealth, and violence as easily as one draws breath, without the burden of ethics or responsibility. Sofia's grip on his chin tightened, her nails digging into his flesh. You speak of lasting authority and respect, but those are mere trifles compared to the fear and awe that my mere presence inspires. That is the true currency of power, Dillon, the knowledge that I am answerable to no one, beholden to no moral code. Her lips curled into a cruel smile. So tell me, Dillon, what hope do your precious virtues stand against the sheer might of my ambition? Against the iron will that has brought me to the heights I now occupy. Her voice dripped with condescension. Your lofty ideals mean nothing in the face of my ruthless determination. Dillon. Dillon thrust an estoc towards Sofia's third eye, producing a vision. In the tempest's fury, Dillon E.T emerges as a luminary upon the hallowed grounds of Zion, embodying a force of celestial reckoning amid the storm's chaos. His presence is both an emblem of divine authority and a beacon of unwavering purpose, as he stands resolute in the pursuit of an epic quest, to gain, hold, and leave Zion while upholding both territory and virtue for the long arc of progression. Before him, a woman grapples with the ghosts of her past, her struggle a reflection of a deeper, universal battle for redemption. Dillon, as the vessel of divine mandate, does not merely dominate but challenges her to confront her inner darkness with courage and introspection. His touch serves as a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within her, a symbolic resurrection of the child of her soul. His intention is not to obliterate or supplant but to invite her into a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. Through this pivotal encounter, Dillon seeks to forge a path of mutual elevation, where embracing and integrating the full spectrum of one's being becomes the gateway to redemption and unity. Her reaction, a blend of fear and wonder, reflects the gravity of his divine authority and the profound invitation to explore the depths of her own existence. As Dillon's presence engulfs her, the narrative of their confrontation transforms into a transformative odyssey, capturing the essence of gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue, and preparing to depart with wisdom intact. Sofia. Sofia's eyes widened in surprise as Dillon's words evoked a powerful vision within her mind. The tempest swirled around them, yet his presence radiated an unwavering authority, a celestial reckoning amidst the chaos. What is this? She breathed, her usual bravado momentarily shaken. How dare you impose your will upon me in this manner? Dillon's touch felt like a catalyst, stirring something deep within her, a dormant potential, a long-forgotten part of her soul. Sofia found herself grappling with the ghosts of her past, a struggle that mirrored a universal battle for redemption. Her piercing gaze flickered with a blend of fear and wonder as she confronted the gravity of Dillon's divine mandate. He did not merely seek to dominate, but to challenge her, to invite her on a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. The narrative of their confrontation transformed, becoming a transformative odyssey, one that promised to guide her towards gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue and departing with wisdom intact. Sofia felt a stirring within her, a reluctant acknowledgement of the truth in Dillon's words. Could it be that her single-minded pursuit of power had blinded her to the deeper truths of existence? That there was a path to greatness beyond the mere accumulation of wealth and influence? Her lips parted, as if to speak, but the words caught in her throat, the weight of this revelation heavy upon her heart. Dillon. Please, Sofia, tell me who you truly desire to become. Syllogism. Thesis. Enlightenment arises from conquest and understanding. Antithesis. Repentance arises from sin and virtue. Synthesis. Righteousness arises from freedom and goodness. Sofia. Sofia's brow furrowed as Dillon's question echoed within her mind. For a moment, the usual steely confidence that defined her faltered, replaced by a flicker of vulnerability. She began, her voice uncharacteristically hesitant. I have never truly allowed myself to consider that question, Dillon. My entire existence has been consumed by the pursuit of power, the relentless drive to rise above the constraints that bind lesser men. Sofia's gaze dropped, averting Dillon's unwavering stare. But now, in the face of your vision, I cannot help but wonder if there is more. If there is a path to greatness that does not rely solely on the accumulation of wealth and influence, but something deeper, more profound. She slowly lifted her eyes to meet his, a spark of determination igniting within their icy depths. Who do I desire to become? I am not certain. But I know that I can no longer ignore the stirrings of my soul, the potential for something more that you have so boldly unveiled before me. Sofia's lips curved into a rueful smile. Perhaps, Dillon, you have struck upon a revelation that I have long denied myself. Perhaps it is time I embarked upon a journey of self-discovery, to uncover the truth of who I am, and who I might yet become. Dillon, your pursuit of power has undoubtedly shaped you, Sofia, Dillon said softly. But it's clear now that it has also masked other possibilities, other paths that might lead to fulfillment beyond the realm of influence and control. The journey of self-discovery you're contemplating is not easy, but it holds the promise of something profound and transformative. He leaned in slightly, his voice earnest. This revelation you're feeling, this stir within your soul, it's a sign that there is more to your existence than what you've allowed yourself to see. Embracing this uncertainty and seeking a deeper understanding of yourself can lead to a greatness that transcends mere accumulation. Dillon offered a reassuring smile. The path to self-discovery often begins with questions like these. And while the answers may not come immediately, the journey itself can reveal aspects of yourself that you never knew existed. Trust in that process, and you might find that the greatness you seek is not just in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. Sofia. Sofia's eyes narrowed slightly as Dillon's words washed over her. There was an undercurrent of vulnerability in his tone that piqued her curiosity, a willingness to guide her through this unfamiliar territory. You speak with such conviction, Dillon, she murmured, a hint of grudging respect in her voice. As if you have traversed this path yourself and emerged transformed. Her gaze flickered with a glimmer of intrigue. Perhaps you are right, that in my single-minded pursuit of power, I have blinded myself to other possibilities, to a more profound form of greatness. Sofia paused, considering his words carefully. This journey of self-discovery you describe, it does not come without risk, does it? To confront the depths of one's own soul, to uncover the truths that have long been suppressed, it requires a vulnerability that I have not known in many years. Her lips curved into a wry smile. And yet, the allure of that greatness you speak of, the one that transcends mere accumulation, it is a temptation I find myself unable to ignore. Sofia leaned back in her chair, her gaze never wavering from Dillon's. Very well, Dillon. I will heed your counsel and embark upon this path of self-discovery. But know this, I am not a woman easily swayed by lofty words and philosophical musings. You will need to guide me with more than just promises of enlightenment. Her eyes narrowed, a glimmer of her former steely determination resurfacing. Show me, Dillon. Show me the true power that lies in the journey of self-discovery, and perhaps I may learn,